Right, hi everyone, it's Paul down at CCRV where we sell American fifth wheels here in Mildenhall. What we're going to do is a quick video on how to winterise your fifth wheel, get all the water out of it, make it nice and safe so it's not going to freeze up during the winter. This is a customer that has left their unit with us down here for storage, so we're going to show you how to get around this one as regards winterising. I'm bound to miss a few things, so if any of you can send any more tips or something I've forgotten, that would be fantastic. Right, let me just show you. We'll start from the boiler. Right, this over here is an anode rod which is in the boiler. I've loosened it off. This needs to come out. Now you see the water will probably, to relieve the pressure, you probably open that and that just leave a little bit of pressure out of it, leave that valve open, and there you go. We've got all the water out of that. This is the thing that takes all the lime scale and everything out of the water, but obviously you don't want to leave all that in there for the winter, so we can just leave that in there, out the way, and just pop that back. So that'll drain out. Now that, I don't know. So if I open that, that allows the air to seep in through there and actually let all the cold water out. So obviously that's the first thing that's going to freeze and ruin your boiler. So that really does need to be removed. By the looks of that, we do probably need a new one. So we've got one over here, a new one, and I'll show you what it should look like. Right, that is what it should look like. And this does something that, some chemical reaction or electrical reaction that keeps the lime scale from going in the water. But that's what it should look like. And that's after 2 years use. So you can see the difference. So it might be worth replacing that one, I think. So we'll leave that one there now and let that drain out. Right, on these Rockwoods, similar on all vans, underneath here there's two plugs here, and these are the low drain points. See the water coming out? They're the lowest drain points on the water system, cold and hot. So we just let them out there and they'll drain. And these little plugs, a good place to sort of store them would probably be in there. Okay, so we've got the water out of the boiler and we've got the low drain point. You see, on these newer vans it usually has a indicator where the actual, hello, that broke off. That ain't so clever, is it? Right, let's pop that back on there. Just hold on a second. You can see nothing's rehearsed here. It sort of goes wrong as it sort of falls to bits here, but there you go, that's back on there, that's drained down, that's done. Right, now the next thing is, if we get into the belly lock on this particular model, which is a Rockwood, they have a water filter. Now we've just loosened that off so I can get it off by hand. You see the water's all actually drained out of there now. Right, we spin that off, and all these Rockwoods have a cartridge water filter sort of system on them, which we just pull out there. Now you can see that should be white, so that's been doing its job, which is nice. And that's the colour of the water in there, so it just shows you the state of the water in some of these campsites. As I say, if I tip that out, you wouldn't want to be drinking that, would you? So it's a good idea to change your filter once a year at least, or just keep an eye on it. Right, so that's the bits going on round there. We just dry that down and that should be all safe. We just, on this particular model, we've got a shower, so what we'll do is we'll just pop that off of there, open these taps fully open, so that lets all the air and the water all go back. We'll let that go, so that's it, that's fine, that's fully drained out. So that's it, that's all we need to do at this end. Right, also on these Rockwoods, what we've got is we'll have a freshwater drain, which is the freshwater tank, which holds about 30 gallons. So we want to make sure that's empty. It will have to be very, very cold for that to freeze. A lot of these, I say the Rockwoods, do have tank heaters on them, but if it's in storage, that'll be off, so that won't be working because you have to switch them on manually. So I'll just show you how to actually drain it down. It should have a sticker on there, freshwater drain, and that's simply is this tap here, and you just turn it around there and just let all the water drain out of it, and that's how you winterise the cold water system on the outside of the van. Right, we'll pop back inside now, we'll have a look, and I'll show you some tips in there as well. Right, this is where the water pump's hidden. This is probably one of the main bits you want to do, although it's actually inside the belly locker, which will stay warm. But like I say, if it's freezing cold for days on end, the frost and the cold does sort of seep in if you're not using the fan. So what we have to do is, we've took the screws out. The screws that hold this panel, this is where the water pump usually is hidden. So if we just take that down. Right, now here's the water pump. Here's the water pump. So this is the water filter. So what we'll do, we've loosened these off. They're not normally this loose. We've loosened it off. That's the water filter. So take that off. This will be the in. So we'll just release that. Obviously a little bit of water will seep out. So we'll just release that. And then there's another one over here, which is the out. And we'll just release that. And that'll allow a little bit of water to seep out the back of the panels and stuff like that. But that'll be it. If that freezes, that'll just push out through here, and that won't cause any damage, because that'll be the weak point of that. So that's the pump, and that's where it's hidden, but you must find the pump. Right, we're inside now. Now this is the lovely 2889 model, which has the island kitchen, as you can see. Now the simplest thing to do with this is just to leave these drains out in the bottoms of the sinks if you've got plugs or whatever. Leave the tap here, so I think in the central position, is wide open, so that's actually mixing hot and cold. So you simply leave that open. So if in eventuality that it did freeze, it would actually push the water out. Now on this model, you can disconnect the end, so you just end up with a bare end, because this has like a spray affair on it. So I would just disconnect that, leave that there, and disconnect the open pipe, and that's fully open. So if there is a little bit of water in there, which there shouldn't be now, it will just push its way out. So we just leave that like that. That's that fine. So we're okay here. So if we pop up into the bathroom, right, we'll do the shower first. Now the best thing is these taps, just leave them fully open. That's that way. Right, we'll probably disconnect that. That should come off there. Yeah, that will just come off of there. You see the water coming out of it? So there was water in there. So if that froze, all that would do is that would destroy the shower head and stuff like that. That just has to be in the central position. And that's it, you're good to go on that. Right, now the second thing on here would be the hand basin. So all we do on that is simply leave the taps fully open. You can hear the air going into it now. I don't know if you can hear that, if the mic picks it up, but that was sucking air back in, which is allowing water to fall out the bottom. And the last but not least is the toilet. So if I get down here, and Dave can get around there and just show you the camera, show you this valve affair on the back here. Can you see this valve here? This valve here, this needs to be disconnected. Alright, so I'll just do that. So if you have a look at that now, Dave, that's what that should look like. Just with that released, and then the foot pedal here, all we do with the foot pedal is we just tweak that a few times just to let the water out of it, and that's it, you're good to go. We should be completely winterised. There's nothing in here now that will actually freeze up. So thanks for watching these videos. We're continually making these helpful little videos. If you like the channel, please subscribe. It helps build the channel. Thanks for watching. You can see nothing's rehearsed here.